Very, very warm. Good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is December the 2nd, 2025. It's a Tuesday, and it is the day before the Sports Ministry will meet and interact with the clubs of the ISL, the clubs of the I League, smaller clubs within the Indian football system, with Reliance FSTL, with potential new commercial partners, with a broadcaster or the broadcasters as well. So, therefore, all these things are possible. And we'll have to wait and see what happens because there is thereafter a big meeting of everybody planned. And therefore, we will have to wait and see what happens in Delhi at the Sports Authority of India headquarters. If a solution is found to all these issues and problems or not, and therefore that will be a very, very interesting thing to see. And therefore, tomorrow could be a big day, a decisive day in regard to what are the next steps for the 2025-2026 Indian football season. Because at the moment, it looks like, it could happen. It might happen. Most probably it won't happen. And what I say, a short term fix, a mid to long term fix as well. So there are a few options in this. Good evening, Siddharth. Welcome back to the channel. And at the start of this video, as always, if you're liking the conversation, if you're liking what you're hearing, I know a lot of you people watch this afterwards. Like it, share it, and do subscribe to the channel as well. And let's grow the community. Yesterday we were at 3,500. Now we've dropped up to 3,499. So sometimes you have these fluctuations. So therefore, hopefully we can cross that barrier and the community grows further. And further, of course, besides the impasse into the men's club football scene, the under 17s, of course, winning on Sunday against Iran in a sensational way. 2-1. Big win for the under 17s, big win for Indian football, one of the biggest wins against Iran in the last few decades. That's one of the positives that we have. Let's see what the exposure level is. The women are currently on a training stint in Dubai, and therefore that will be interesting to see. Again, they're winning their games, getting a little bit of exposure here and there, but is it really what is needed? The under 20s, under 17s, of course, are there as well. Let me just check. I didn't check earlier. The under 20s were playing a game earlier today against Uzbekistan, and the under 20s have won 4-2 against Uzbekistan at home. So another win for them against Uzbekistan. So that's good. And we'll see what happens. Suraj asks, what about the FIFA AIFF Academy and any players selected from here for U17? Yes, Suraj, the FIFA AIFF Academy in Odisha, 3 boys of that academy were part of the under 17 squad this year. So 3 of the boys are from that academy, while the others are from across India, across academies. And that's the reality of things, of that academy, of who has been selected to play in the India under 17s. And just a teaser, tomorrow I'm bringing out an interview with Johnson and Arjun from something of a documentary, very interesting documentary, which I found. I was part of a private Discord screening a few weeks ago on which showcased the Sikkim episode, and the Kolkata episode was released last Friday. Traveler's Guide to Indian Football. Tomorrow, I'll be releasing my interview with those guys from Sportfolio's production. Right. Should Bibiano go on a scouting tour for possibly better players for the under 17 team, or this under 17 is the best we have? Hanipal, scouting tour is something which sounds very, very easy. It's like go around across the country, have a look at players, and then pick players XYZ and then bring them to the national team. I feel that's a little tricky, right? Because to play international football. Either you are so exceptional that Bibiano says, I have to pick this boy, or find another solution to it. To me, that is always dicey, to say the least, because Bibiano would have to find talent on such a scouting tour, which is exceptional. Because the jump from, let's say, local, regional level to national level, and then to international or Asian level is quite high. We're not talking now about the qualifiers, we're talking about the Asian Cup itself at the under 17 level. So, therefore, I don't know. I think the AIFF scouting system should try and figure out boys to bring into the system, to have a look at them and think, okay, could this player, could that player, maybe. I think there is a need, a requirement to find a striker who can make a difference. I think for the Indian team, I think that's one of those positions where India needs to find better players. I think in all positions we could look for players for backups and other things, but I think overall, yes, they have to go on scouting missions. But again, I don't think that is Bibiano's job. I think the scouts need to bring the players to him theoretically, and then Bibiano needs to have a look and say, okay, this player, that player, this player, that player. There are players in the system who play for some of the under 17, under 18 teams who have or who were not part of this squad. Some of them, so therefore, that is it. Isn't that Danny guy who played under 3, under 17? I don't know. I don't think he was under 17. I think he was under, was he 18? I think he was over 18, right? Um, I think he was over 18, if I'm not wrong. Um, yeah, he was 18. Danny Mithai is 18, so he's not eligible for this squad. Some OCI players not showing real interest in joining Indian football. Siddharth, they have shown interest over the years. Nobody knew that they showed interest. Right now you see it, so to say, it seems to be in the public domain. This is something that again I've been pushing for years. Therefore, it is not the real interest has always been there for the last 25 years. It's just that the AFF is not active enough on that point, and if we don't have a league, then this whole exercise that Ryan Williams went through will not be possible, right? So let's be clear. Ryan Williams got it done, but how will the others get it done if there is no ISL or there's no I League or there's no whatever, if there is another league, whatever league it is. So therefore, all this hype that we have, again, we all this is behind the scenes. A lot of these conversations happen, uh, uh, um, you know. Uh, so therefore, yeah, we'll have to see what is available to us. But um, it is for the AFF to try and work out with the government what can be the pathway, and that's the thing. Um, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Really, this is very good chance for India to qualify for U17 World Cup this time. 9 teams selected for World Cup. Yep, Suraj, you need to reach the quarterfinals. Um, if we're taking Qatar out, we need to reach the quarterfinals of the Asian level competition to be able to play in the World Cup. So it means 8 out of 16, but it depends on what kind of a group you get. So therefore, India, if you think that we're going to be finishing top two, that's a wish at the moment. Again, preparations are going to be important. What other things are happening in and around the team, and um, so therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Um, yeah, we'll have to see. Um, who we get in the group again in Saudi Arabia next year in May. And then if we can finish second, we automatically qualify for the quarterfinals. And if you qualify automatic for the quarterfinals, you will qualify for the Under 17 World Cup. So that is, the road is much, much easier than it used to be. So that's a big, big positive, I would say. And let's see if we can get to that or not, but that opportunity is there. Did any Minimum Punjab or Bangalore FC player make it to the U17? Any names? I've heard most of the players are from the AIFF Talent Academy. No, not that many are from the AIFF Talent Academy. Let me go through the squad ones. We've got one, or two, we've got three, You got four boys from there. You have one boy from Minerva who's Aslan Shah. You have boys from the Reliance Foundation, Rajroop Sharkar, the goalkeepers from Zinc Football Academy. You've got players from Mohun Bagan, Sudeva FC, Classic Football Academy. Northeast United has three crucial players in Subham Punya, Captain Dalmon Gangte, as well as Gunleba. So all the three goal scorers are from Northeast United. You have a player from FC Mangalore, Chennai FC, Bhuna FC, Real Kashmir, Jamshedpur FC, or the old Tata Football Academy, someone from the East Bengal Academy, FC Goa Academy. So it's a very mixed squad. BFC doesn't have any players in the squad. Yes, that's true. Minerva is only one. So it's a very diverse, very mixed team that Bibiano has picked for this. So therefore, there is no, um, again, four players from the AIFF FIFA Talent Academy. But again, um, yeah, overall, it's not that many. I would suggest and say. Therefore, that's something which is there. But again, a very mixed squad at the under 17 team that has been picked. Right. Nearly 12 minutes. Quick reminder: if you're liking the conversation, if you like what you're hearing, what you're seeing, do leave a like behind. 6 likes so far. Share it with other people to potentially join us in this conversation and this Indian football discussion, this live discussion on Indian football. And if you're watching afterwards, also do leave a like, leave a comment behind what you think. Also, and if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. Help me grow the community. We dropped a little earlier below the 3,500 mark. We're at 3,499 once again. So yeah, if you're watching, if you're liking, do leave a like behind, go leave a subscription behind, and watch the short videos. I did something today on the Government of India, the Sports Ministry. It's meeting tomorrow, which I think is very, very crucial to see where can they help. Will it go that way as we, most probably all of us are hoping, or does it not really go that way? And then, yeah, yeah. Good evening, Swastik. Welcome back. Suraj, as I said, the three Indian goal scorers are all Northeast United players. Shubham Punia, the defender, who's 15. Dalal Mohan Gangte, who's also 15, who scored four of the goals. And Gunleba Wangkai Rakpam is also from Northeast United. So all three crucial players of this team in defense, midfield, and in attack were from Northeast United. So therefore, yeah, Northeast United actually had or have had a big representation in this team. So that's a positive, I think, in regard to representation of this team. So therefore, it has players from all over. But again, we're now going into a yearly cycle. That will be an interesting thing to see with the Under 17 World Cup and the AFC Under 17 Asian Cup also happening every year. It means you have less time. We were discussing yesterday, and uh, to prepare a team. You don't have a 2-year cycle to prepare a team, 15, 16-year-olds to get them prepared. So let's see. Where is Manisha in India? Swastik, at the moment, she's with the Indian national team. She's with the Indian women's national team. She's training with them in Dubai. But as far as I know, Manisha doesn't have a club. I thought she would join East Bengal. That's what I thought before the AFC Women's Champions League. But at the moment, supposedly, she's not. I was checking. She's not listed as a PAOK player at the moment. So therefore, yeah. And she's listed as a former notable player of the team. So therefore, Manisha Kalyan at the moment is not a player of PAOK FC in the Greek Women's League. Well, part of the World Cup has been paved, and it's now upon us to decide how we go about it. Simon, the path is there, but it's like in the women's game where we're talking about the quarterfinals, and is it easier? Is it tougher? It depends on the group. Honestly, Sorry, just got something. So the path to the World Cup, as I say, um, you know, but Simon, as I said, it depends who we get in the group, and then we'll have to wait and see. We need to win our matches, whoever it is. I think one win, one draw could get us to the World Cup because that might make us finish second in the group. Two wins, of course, yes, for sure, but I don't think it's that easy. I think we've been very lucky this year. If you look at some of the performances of the women's team, of the under 23s, even the under 17s, that some of those teams who we would have rated as stronger have had poor campaigns. So we should not forget that. In all our celebrations, we should be clear. Thailand didn't play a good campaign. That's why Qatar, Bahrain were disastrous, I felt, in the under 23s. And this Iran, I mean, I've read two, three articles and I've been speaking to some friends. They're being shredded to pieces. The whole system is shredding the under 17s to pieces. You know, let's see. Simon answers Rustic. She's returned to India. And what happened with her in Park? Don't know. Yeah, she was released. Nothing more to add, Simon. And I think, as far as I know, I don't know if someone knows. Um, supposed to join East Bengal for the AFC Women's Champions League, but it didn't happen. I don't know why, and then we'll see. Will that yearly cycle be burden or help in India for U17 category? Roshan, I think for India it's a burden. I would rather think that a 2-year program would help us. But the problem is with the AFF. Will the AFF do an under 16 for the sake of having an under 16, which is not linked to the under 17s as a backup, and then next year push it up? I don't think they at the moment they will not think about it. You've got it over here, right? In Germany, we have, as you know, under 15s, under 16s, under 17s, under 18s, under 19s, under 20s, under 21s, right? So you've got every age group covered. And theoretically, either you go up 1 year or you jump maybe 1 or 2 years, or let's say like a Leonard Kahl, who's 17, he's already playing for the under 21s. So therefore, that's where it is. Hasnat Shah from Minerva during the scam Mr. RB is running. Okay, Hannibal. By the way, today Bangladesh women put up a good fight against a stronger Azerbaijan, but losing in the end by 2-1. Yeah, and this is the point, right? That they are playing this kind of a competition, opposition, and I think that is the best that we have. And to me, yeah, everything else doesn't make sense. So therefore, Bangladesh is smart by playing these kind of tournaments and competitions. It is also getting a lot of media coverage, media exposure over there, from what I've heard and what I've seen. And let's see. Nita FF posted a schedule for IWL, but didn't find overall schedule. Roshan, again, supposedly Kalyani, I think 20th December to 6th of Jan. I guess there will be made daily matches. Should be at any time, I guess the AIFF should be coming out with that. Honestly, I feel like we have overachieved here, and this is as far as we are going to get. Pranjal, I agree. I agree. I mean, and Iran in normal form, we wouldn't have gotten past them. So therefore, as I say, let's enjoy, be happy. We've overachieved at this level. I at least am very happy with what the boys have done, and now we should focus on what can happen in the future. And can they take the next step? That's the simple question that the team has to now answer. And yeah, that's the challenge. That's the challenge for this team now. Can they take the next step? Yes, sir. We have to take it step by step. Can't jump over them. Simon, we do that. We get overawed by the occasion. Women's was the same thing. We suddenly talked about the Women's World Cup. So therefore, for me, yeah. So therefore, we need to be careful. And again, is the AFF going to organize the exposure that these boys need? That's going to be the big thing. Chinese Taipei women beaten Nepal by 1-0, says Roshan. Yeah, a team that we couldn't beat. Yeah, gives us a little bit of an understanding. Konnichiwa, Roku, welcome back. Is BMW Audi a luxurious car in Germany, like an indoor type of brand every middle class can afford in Germany? Hannibal, everyone can afford these kind of brands, BMW, Audi, or Mercedes. It's nothing special here in this country. Rival watch women, says Simon. Japan 1-0 against Canada. That's a big statement win. And Chinese Taipei 1-0 against Nepal. No games besides the ASEAN Championship. So yeah, that says it all. I think if Japan can beat Canada, mm, that's a World Cup matchup, in my opinion. So therefore, for us, it's very very clear that we need to be aware of where we stand, where we are, and to me, that's very very evident. And for me, it's very very difficult. I think. Uh, so therefore, for me, it's a very very tricky scenario. If we're honest of where we stand and how we're going to get out of it. Um, if I see the group in the AFC Women's Asian Cup, I remember I think well, that has failed you 70 team all these years. Hannibal, let these people talk what they want to talk, right? If you listen again, you can listen to anybody, everybody. I know a lot of you do that. You know, if you don't give them the courtesy of listening to their stuff, maybe it might be better that all of that stuff of certain people doesn't get enough views, right? Let's grow our community of people who are honest and clear cut and try and take this in the right direction. And yeah, let's wait and see what we can do. In the youth category, we also need to accept that in the last few years, countries like Uzbekistan, Indonesia, Tajikistan, etc., have leveled up their quality and getting more competitive day by day. We have Swastik, but there is also a certain section in Asia which seems to have dropped in standard, right? So therefore, while certain teams have gone up, there are certain teams who've gone down, right? Iran. And I think if I've read a few interesting articles in English on the Iran situation in Iran, I think there's a big fear that this downfall of Iran is might be a start to a bigger downfall in the years to come. I think Iran is struggling, and that's an interesting one to see that a country like Iran, with its as long as I can think, Iran has always been a top Asian side. Uh, you know, um, but again, I don't know. Yeah. Um, if it's enough to be able to judge what is going wrong in Iran, because there seems to be a lot going wrong in Iran. From Crispin's point of view, how is he shaping his team up, mixing youth with experienced Nirati Bala Devi? But um, Simon, we see Manisha is back. Avika, for example, is coming from Denmark, so that's a very good sign, and she's also amongst the goals, so that's a good sign. So those two experienced, and then let's see. Bala is an interesting one. Uh, I said earlier, someone like a Sweetie impressed me for East Bengal as a defensive player for East Bengal in the AFC Women's Champions League. Uh, uh, you know, uh, so therefore, let's wait and see. Right? There's a lot of experienced players in there. Let's see what Crispin does. Iran and their politics ruining it. Yeah, Simon. I understand Bibiano gets so much credit. It's fine for me, but after 11 match narrative was set to push accountability on AIFF and Chobe. Only problem here is that black-white mentality. Roshan, welcome to today's world. After the Lebanon match, people were gunning for his head. He has never done anything. There's that. He doesn't have a system. No, hasn't got tactics. And then one match later, the team performs and suddenly everything is fine. That's welcome to our world, right? And that's the problem where we are in the year 2025. Um, look at the assessment of Khalid Jamil after the CAFA Nations League, Nations Cup. Khalid Jamil was the perfect choice. This, that, everything, and then after the losses against Singapore and Bangladesh, people realize what the quality is. So therefore, reality is somewhere in between. I think, if you ask me, the reality is somewhere in between of the quality of Viviano as a coach. But again, I've discussed it long enough. I think there's a lack of quality in this team, and um, yeah, we've had much better teams. But again, this team is qualified, so the credit goes to the boys. But again, I hope not to be there too much exposed at the Asian level. Australian youth teams also struggling against ASEAN youth teams. Hannibal, Australia has been um, you know, they've been struggling for a while, right? Even at senior level. But you say about Australia, we balanced it out in senior level because they have dual nationals. Yeah, but even at senior level, I don't think, you know, Uh, uh, um, is it they're not as dominant? You would have normally said Australia is amongst the top three in Asia. Mm, are they still top three? Or are they just sorry? Um, so Australia has an issue, and let's see. By the way, India 20 women won 4-2 against Uzbekistan today in a closed-door friendly. Didn't we play them for the U20 Asian Cup qualifier preparations as well as the same team again and again? What's the point? Trustic, if you are unable to get matches against other teams, better to play these teams than not, to let's say play local teams, right? So it's okay. It's you've played now two matches, you've beaten them again. Maybe that gives you a rhythm. As you say, it's a closed door match, so therefore I don't know if Joachim Alexanderson tried out a few things. So yeah, these are all realities. But Australia will balance it out in senior level because they have dual nationals. Sorry, we had just had that. Just off topic question: have you been to the very interesting Cologne Cathedral? Yes, I have been, Swastik. Is it true that Sport Minister advised Kalyan Chaube to step down? No. That's a rumor that someone put out there, as like many things that are out there. I've always said, and I say this again and again, with all due respect, a lot of people are just putting out statements to be relevant at the moment, right? There's a lot of people putting out a lot of statements, so that's one of our biggest problems at the moment. You know, um, if you ask me, yeah. So therefore, we need to be very clear that um, that we need to um, yeah, we need to remember where we are, how we are, and what we are, and then we'll see what happens. But again, it's yeah. Is ISL going to happen in Jan, Augusto? At the moment, I don't know. Tomorrow, let's see what happens. But I don't know if tomorrow is a changing day that the sports ministry will have an effect and say, "Hey guys, come together, let's do this." Because rather than the starting meetings with the clubs, I think the more important meeting is with FSDL. Does anyone else show up for that commercial meeting? That will be, in my opinion, very, very interesting. And is any broadcaster OTT platform going to turn up? That's the most important question, I think, at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. That's why I like to judge a whole campaign and not only individual results. Roshan, I agree with you. And from that perspective, India under 17s didn't have a good campaign. But the outcome is they've qualified. So therefore, what is your outcome of the campaign then? Bad campaign overall, but they succeeded, right? So that's the challenge. Japan, Korea, and Saudi are the only elite teams consistently. Yeah, even Saudis don't come to that elite. Hannibal, I would rather say Japan, Korea, but even Japan, Korea failed in the Asian Cup. So that's the question. Who's in a World Cup scenario? I think Japan, Korea are the elite teams. Until 2-3 editions ago, we would have added Australia to it. But again, the others, yeah, it's a mixed bag. A lot of teams besides Japan are through a transition might affect them in the World Cup. Let's see, Simon. It's yeah. Tomorrow's either going to be or a L day, nothing in between. No, it's Simon. I think it will be something in between. You know, so I don't think there is no win or loss. There's rather something in between which will come out because at the moment I don't see anything big decisive coming out of tomorrow because the positions, the points are very, very clear through the levels. By the way, any prediction for Spain versus Germany women in the Nations League final, second leg today in Spain? Swastik, I want Germany to win. Germany played better the other night in Kaiserslautern. Bonmati is now seriously injured also. So, but again, Spain is Spain and they're playing at home. Again, let's wait and see. I hope Ambani's bid the S out of court and stuff and come back. Hannibal, Who, what are they going to do about the code, right? You know, question is, what is the conversation with the government going to be about and like? That's the tricky part, right? And you know, and yeah, so therefore, I don't know. I don't know if it's. I honestly don't know what is going to be the meeting tomorrow about. Not a good campaign, but they delivered when it mattered. And as you said in your short video against Iran, very exceptional. Yeah, Roshan, very exceptional. Um, at any level in the men's game, I don't remember us beating Iran in the last uh, uh, 3 decades at least that I've followed Indian football. I don't remember India beating Iran at any level. I wouldn't. I wouldn't remember that. Maybe I missed something, but I wouldn't remember us beating them. So therefore, yeah, that's the reality. That's the reality of things, and um, let's wait and see how things progress. Has FSDL completely shut doors to Indian football, like they called it quit and cannot be really convinced back into the scene if they could reconcile? Simon, at the moment, it looks like it. The Ambanis have walked away. That would be my opinion. I might be wrong, but that's how the situation stands. We'll have to wait and see what comes out of the situation. Super USA winning FIFA World Cup in USA is the script. Okay, Hannibal, let's see. But give the 17 matches of them, they would actually beat this version of Iran. Simon, normally I would say yes. Most probably yes. But the 2016 version actually lost, if I'm not wrong, they lost at home in Goa to Iran. I think if I'm 1 second. I think India, Iran were in the same group. Yeah. Yeah. India lost to the UAE despite a 2-1 lead. India has played a 3-3 against the Saudis with the 95th minute equalizer from Suresh Wangjam. And Iran beat India 3-0 with two late with penalties 80th and 91st minute. Yeah. So that was the reality of that tournament. By the way, how can Qatar host so many tournaments starting from World Cup, Asian Cup, Arab Cup, and the list goes on and on? Swastik, if you see the infrastructure that the Qataris have built at Aspire, which hosted the under 17 um, FIFA World Cup, I think there is no other location in the world which can host all games at one location with proper stadium like infrastructure with training facility. A 48 team competition at one venue. So, as simple as that. And the Qataris are picking up the tabs of organizing this. It's not that you're saying, hey, FIFA, hey, AFC, hey, XYZ, give me the money, let me organize it. They're pumping in the money, right? So, um, that's how you do it. That's smart way of building, and enabling your teams to play competitions also. And in that way, I would say that the Qataris have been very, very smart. Hannibal says, just not beat, they would demolish the current Iranian 17 team. Okay. Sorry. Because they have the infra. Yeah, because they have the infra. They have the infra and they're willing to spend the money. Even last edition of the U17 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers, they almost missed the tournament qualification. Yeah, they've been struggling, and that's the thing. If you look at the tournament, that they have been having their problems. You know, and therefore that's the struggles that they have, right? So therefore, for me, Iran has been on a downward trajectory, right? I mean, um, but losing 4-1 to North Korea, remember that? Yeah, found it. Just yeah. So therefore, that's where that's an interesting one to see, and therefore, um, we were lucky to get Iran in our qualifiers. Let's be clear. In my opinion, that was the best opponent we could get from that pot, and therefore, well, that's a good sign for us. And Um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we can do um, in the next set of qualifiers, right? Do you see, by any chance, Nicola Adam coming back again? Who knows? No, I don't. Nicola is with the international system at Eintracht Frankfurt, and he's doing great work with Eintracht. And I don't see Nikolai Adam by any chance coming back. They have been struggling, or everyone else is catching up. They've been struggling. Yeah, I don't think anyone is catching up with them. I think Iran has just got worse than they were earlier. They've got problems in their system. It seems like, they were very successful until, yeah, a few years ago. And they seem to have been imploding in the last few years. And yeah, if you don't do your youth development properly, it will affect. So Iran at the moment, not good. FC Goa versus Mumbai City FC Super Cup game. Who's going to win it? Augusto, I'll be biased. Mm, Mumbai City, of course, right? My old team, and yeah, if you ask me that way. Fares Al Bo Rai Khan, the current Saudi men's national team striker, played in the 3-3 all in the AFC U17 Asian Cup 2016. Yeah. Yeah, again, we've played a lot of players. That under 16 team even played against a certain Erling Haaland in Norway, right? Afghanistan in political stability zero, GDP zero, football two, people 10, guns 10, futsal. Hannibal. Might look funny, but yeah. What I read about Iran women's footy, unlike the men's game, the women's game, they struggle to convince female players from Diaspora to Brazil, Iran, Russian, which is understandable, right? With the whole scenario for women in that country, doesn't make it so easy, right? So therefore, for me, again, that's a different story altogether. In which direction Indian football heading towards, sir? Do you have any idea? Ultra football, that's I think the all encompassing question in Indian football at the moment is where is Indian football heading? Do I know it? Do you know it? Does anybody know it? I don't think so. Tomorrow is going to be another important day, you know. If we are going to see any positive changes, and then we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But to me, it's a challenge. And the challenge is not getting easier for us. Let's be clear about it. The challenge is growing. And yeah, it would be very interesting to see what happens in the coming years. So let's wait and see what happens. But you need a top tier league. In the ideal case, it is the ISL. Let's see if Reliance FSDL can be convinced in some sort of form way. At the moment, they no longer run the league. And what happens within the AIFF, right? So these are all very interesting things. I mean, Afghanistan futsal top 20 in the world. Yeah, no, well, if you do certain things right, they can do it. No, it's not rocket science. It's certain basics you have in there, and then if you do those things right, you can get yeah, you can get results. And Afghanistan in that futsal sphere has established itself as one of the best in Asia. So credit to them for achieving that. That's a big achievement for them. And then again, it shows where we in futsal and beach soccer, we've not taken it seriously, right? People talk about it, but have we really taken it seriously? I don't see that. So therefore, these are all brutal realities of sports in India, Indian football. Right, 40 minutes done. Once more reminder, if you haven't, you're liking what we're talking about, do leave a like behind, share with other people, 12 likes so far, and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, you're liking what we're talking about, you want to put in your queries, your questions, put them in there. I try to answer them. We discuss them. Again, put in your viewpoints. Like, as I say, like, share, and subscribe. And of course, watch my short videos. I did something about tomorrow's meeting that the All India Football Federation is having with the government of India, with the clubs of the ISL, the I League, with FSDL, with potential other commercial partners and broadcasters and OTT. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens on that front. Right. Um, what else? What else? What else? Guys, hit me with questions. Observations. Yeah, I was already said tomorrow. Um, Nearly a 40-minute interview with the guys behind the Traveler's Guide to Indian Football. If you haven't seen it, have a look at it. So far, the um, Kolkata episode is online. There are episodes on Kashmir, Punjab, Sikkim, as well as Hyderabad. Some really nice footage. And I interviewed Johnson and Arjun, who are the guys behind the whole project. So 40-minute interview coming tomorrow on this channel. By the way, Kuwait drew 1-1 against Egypt today in the Arab Cup. I know Egypt's best players were not playing, but still, a few years back, we were able to beat Kuwait. But now, where we are and others. Yeah, Swastik, that's, yeah. Realities, where we are and where the others are. That's why it is shocking to see where how we've dropped over the last 2.5 years. Really, yeah. Think about it. In November 2023, we beat Kuwait in Kuwait City, and now look where we are. And yeah, that's a very, very, very interesting, very, very tricky scenario. So this is where we are. And yeah, let's hope and see where we stand. Right. Um, what's your assessment of what could come out tomorrow? That's one. What do you guys think about Thursday? About the Super Cup semifinals? What's going to happen with them? Right. Let me know with that as well, and then we can talk about it because yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, and what is going to happen at those respective clubs. What's the situation with Odisha Lobera leaving next? Seems to go to Mohun. It's sad that Odisha FC. Augusto, Odisha is on standby. Odisha FC is like, I think, two or three other entities on standby. They've not only shut their first team in the men's game, but also in the women's game. Chennai seems to be in the same position. And we'll have to see. I'm surprised that Hugo Bumus is sort of being discussed at Mohun Bagan after his departure. But again, seems like if his favorite coach goes to the club, maybe that works. So therefore, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, if the situation doesn't change, Odisha FC is there where they are, and we will have to see. Luis Diaz or Sadio Mane? Shwastik, if you ask me that way, I would say Luis Diaz. I'm really impressed. I didn't think he was that good, but what he's been playing at Bayern Munich, look at last weekend, the way he sitting, lying on the ground, played the pass for Rafael Guerrero to scored the winning 2-1 against St. Pauli as well. I would have loved to have seen him last Tuesday against Arsenal. I don't think Bayern would have lost with Luis Diaz against Arsenal. I think we are a different team with him. And Sadio Mane sadly never settled. And therefore, um, so yeah, let's wait and see because so far, Luis Diaz, yeah, one of the transfers, maybe the transfers in European club football. The interference of last 2 years of national team results is Indian national football team is absolutely finished. Yeah, it's Hannibal. I wouldn't say we're finished. I think with the right coach, um, they could have at least gotten some results, right, here and there. So let's wait and see. Did you see the figures for bids for lower men's tier European? Roshan, I think the AIFF wants to put figures to those leagues. As with the IWL, the I League, I League 2, I League 3, the problem is not the figures. You can pay those figures. My problem is who's going to produce, who's going to run, who's going to manage. Those are also costs. Who's taking care of those costs? If you're saying, okay, with six rows, I own the I League, I League 2, I League 3. Brilliant. But who's investing in running the league? And of course, your broadcasters, at least your broadcaster for I League, you have to pay money. And your production in regard to OTT for I League, I League 2, I League 3 also has to come from somewhere. So the figure to me does make sense. The figures don't make sense to me because so your evaluation at the moment is 3 was IWL. You have 6 for the I Leagues. That makes it 9. And you've got 37.5 for the ISL, which means you've got 46.5 is your valuation of the whole thing. What Mohammad Supergiant keeping training sessions for? Hannibal, that's a good question to ask. And um, My question would have been, what are you signing your coach for at the moment, right? BFC, Jad Zaragoza left, went back to Greece. And for now, Renedy Singh is the head coach. But again, the players have been given a holiday, right? I saw pictures of players on holiday. These are realities. Who have, according to you, the best youth coaches, foreign, who have worked in India? Uh, Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know who would be the best coaches, youth coaches, foreigners in in the clubs. I mean, if I look at national teams, Nikolai Adam comes to mind. Islam Akhmedov comes to mind. Uh, let's see. So I don't know. And is the U7 2007 U7 World Cup the best U7 World Cup you've ever seen? No, I would have said that the current one, maybe, or the one before in Indonesia, they would have been better. Then, yeah. How would you rate India's performance at the main U17 World Cup? I mean, we played to our strengths, and the Colombia game did show signs. Simon, I thought we were not good enough in the way that I seen the team earlier under Nico Adam. Nottingham Matos was just, you know, not getting the best out of the boys, I felt. And I still believe that. So I thought we were better, we were stronger, but we didn't perform to that level. So that's a reality. And to me, we didn't cross the line in the way that I thought we could. And again, that's the thing. Honestly, do you have any positive hopes for tomorrow's meeting? No. I would rather be positively surprised tomorrow than going with any expectation into the meeting, because what is the government able to solve? The government is getting everybody together. Why? Because the government has been told to do that by the Supreme Court of India. Otherwise, has the government done this in the past? They could have done this, right? So the question is, do they understand what are the issues? Because I think meeting the clubs is nice, and that those two meetings are 1.5 hours. But that next set of meetings for 1.5 hours, FSTL, potential commercial partners, broadcast and OTT partners, that 1.5 hours, you will most probably hear and say, listen, guys, this is what we need. These are the monies. This is income revenues, this, that, everything. That is the more interesting part. The clubs are going to say, hey, listen, we want this, we want this, we want this. And we can do this. Nothing more, nothing less. The money needs to come from the commercial partners. Otherwise, this league will not run, or the leagues will not run. Right? That's the reality. They will play in Bundesliga probably. Yeah, Hannibal, maybe there will be an exception. And from the winter, we see a 19th team playing here in Germany. Yes, I meant for the national team. Yeah, Simon. As I said, this under 17, it was a World Cup, first ever World Cup at home. Yeah, maybe the one other thing could have been better. Still, ISL happening chances at 1%, right? Yes, 1%. We are from 0 to 1, 0 to 1, 0 to 1. Again, I'm amazed that there are people running around and telling people, oh, no, 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 the ISL will happen. Or if not the ISL, something else will happen. You know, uh, so therefore, that's, I don't know. It's very, very tricky, very difficult at the moment, because it is not easy to sum up the situation. But yeah, that's where we are. What will be your all-time ISL 11? Oh, Augusto, out of the blue, difficult. Out of the blue, I wouldn't be able to put you an ISL 11 together, because I would have to really go through 11 years, because half of the players, forget half the more, half of the players I would have forgotten. And then you will tell me this player, that player, then say, oh yeah, this player needs to get in, that player. For example, who would you put in as a striker? You've got so many of them. Yeah, right. Would you, uh, goalkeepers? Do you go then, let's say, for a Gurpreet Singh Sandhu? Would you have to think about an Amrinder Singh maybe? There's a lot of players over the years who played in the ISL, also in the early years, who impressed, right? I'm still a big fan of the way that Ilano Bloomer played, Diego Forlan played, but do they make it? That's a difficult one. That, Sporting Delhi, 2019 World Cup. 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 2019 World Cu New coaching was good with youth players. Yeah, Hannibal, Thomas Schorsch at Sporting Club Delhi, yeah, now as head coach, was good. And um, yeah, let's see if he can. He struggled with the first team of the Blasters last season when he was interim coach, and now he's um, um, now he's at Delhi, and they didn't play well. Um, and yeah, and therefore they are where they are at this moment in time. By the way, why did your local club in Germany fell off so badly? Schwastik finances, simple thing. They were uh, came from the lower leagues, worked their way up in the 70s and 80s, established themselves as a second, third tier, rather more of a third tier club. Um, then went bankrupt twice. Once saved by Bayern Munich through a charity friendly match by Bayern Munich, and FC Remscheid since then has moved down, has been now in the last 16, 17 years in the sixth tier. And yeah, we're not getting out of that league. At the moment, the likelihood of us rather getting relegated than promoted is there. And that's the difficulty. Even if you have a name and a pedigree, it is more difficult for you to go up the leagues than stay in where you are. Novo Kapadia told a Serbian coach, Milorad, forgot that family name, also had impact info. Mirat Ciric, yeah. In the 80s, yeah, Milovan, uh, Milovan Ciric had also an impact. And yeah, if I want to impact at that level, then you have to add Bob Houghton, we have to add Stephen Constantine as well to the mix. When will ISL start? No idea, no clue. I think nobody in the world knows when the ISL will start. Um, that's my honest answer at this moment in time. Uh, you know, and so let's wait and see what happens. Chances of ISL happening this year is as much likely as India chance of winning the World Cup. Zero. It's a little too brutal, but yeah. Um, I would say that's um, sadly really possible. I make a short video about all-time ISL 11. Yeah, Roshan, maybe something to make around Christmas. Maybe a video to make. Is government planning sports passport to bring OCA or Shajiba has told about it? I have not heard anything about it. Sports again, the sports passport is an idea that I've had many years back. I've not heard anything on that so far. Any favorite final or season of the ISL? Augusto, final, I would say of season two. I guess as an FC Goa fan, you will not like it. Um, but that 3-2 comeback from Chennai at the Fatoda, that would be one. And 2 seasons ago when Mohun Bagan won the League Shield and Mumbai City won the ISL Cup in Kolkata against Mohun Bagan, I would think that would have been, those would be favorites if you ask me that way amongst my ISL memories. Do you think Khalid Jamil will be a long-term solution coach for Indian national team? No, Sachin, I've said this before and I will say this again. To me, Kalyan never was a coach to think about, um, to coach the national team. He has been made that, and now we'll have to wait and see what happens. To me, yeah, it's not the right appointment, but again, you know, so therefore, yeah, let's wait and see. Is Khalid telling we have shortlisted Najumla or is it reality? He didn't say we have shortlisted. He might think, you know, and you know, so I think what he wanted to say is that I would like to have, XYZ more options in the national team. Um, is that happening or not happening? That's the question. Hey Kumar, welcome back. Shaji said, according to Simon, the government may be thinking about something like a sports passport. This is their new vision document, the National Sports Passport, the is ongoing. Yeah, but again, as I've said earlier, they say that they will interact with the diaspora. And at the moment, the sports passport seems to be not a topic, according to what I've heard from the government. What do you think of Bengal Super League? Or Selvin, I'm not sure what to think about it. It looks to me, as if the Kolkata Maidan wants to spread out in Bengal, right? And it looks old school in the way they're trying to do it. In that way, I think the Super League Kerala has done a better job so far. So the testing ground for the Bengal Super League will be: are you able to challenge what the Super League Kerala has sort of set out? Because the Kerala Super League, I think, despite certain issues, I think in the background regarding finances, but if you look at the PR and stadiums and this and that, everything, they've done actually quite a good job, right? So that's the challenge. I guess ISL will happen for it's more a question how much damage control can be done. Roshan, damage is done, right? To that extent. The question is not, and the problem to me is to force through the 2025-26 season just for the sake of having it, in my opinion, doesn't make sense, right? Do you think we should consider Musa for senior national team? No. Keep him at youth level. He's better at youth level than at senior level. That Chennai FC comeback was heartbreaking. Everyone thought FC Goa had won it. Yeah, Augusto, I remember Mendoza with the late goals. Yeah, it's a crazy one. Uh, and therefore it was insane. So therefore, um, yeah, I remember the craze for that game. People were desperate for tickets. How many? I think thousands of people were outside of the stadium who would wanted to come in, get in, couldn't get in. Yeah, really, really. I remember an exceptional atmosphere around the Fatorda for that game. Right, it was electric that day. It was really, really electric that day at the Fatorda. If FSDL and the AIFF just kept filling in the gaps in Indian football little by little, we'd be okay. Only now they're starting U20 leagues, talks about OCA, etc., etc. Turbo, U20 leagues you don't need. I think your problem is you need, I would have said under 13, 15, 17, 19, and then RFDL. That would be the right one. And OCI talks have been going on for the last 25 years. So this is not something new. It's just that how do you going to accommodate them? They've not done anything. And nothing has happened on the OCI front. You guys are falling for these narratives from a lot of people. Let me tell you that as the person who started talking about this in Indian football in 2001, that nothing has changed as of today. It is only because Ryan Williams has received his passport via playing in India with the help of JSW that we're thinking that we are a little further down the road than we were yesterday or the day before. We're not. Sorry to break that reality or that bubble to you guys. We are at the same level, we are at the same barrier. And some of these OCI players who've now said, listen, I would like to play in India, who didn't say that earlier, they were interested earlier as well. So therefore, yeah, that's the reality. And therefore, again, sorry to break this. Um, it might not be the nicest thing to do, but that's where we stand. And therefore, for me, I hope it works. And let's see where we go with all of this, because it's a yeah, it's a long path. It's a long way. It's a long, long journey that we will have to go to get OCI players to go. And a lot of people are doing engagement farming with all that they're saying. Bengal Super League is another stunt that will be dead in a few years. Kumar, let's wait and see what happens. Again, some of the ideas are really good, but a lot of things they will have to prove if they can really do it. And that's the challenge, I think, for the Bengal Super League. The same as with the Kerala Super League. So both of these leagues will have to prove themselves. Why is that? Is it an anti OCI lobby in the AIFF, FSDL? Turbo, it's not a question of AIFF or FSDL. It's the government of India, right? So it's not, the AIFF would have implemented it 2 decades ago. My PIO card in 2006 went to FIFA, right? So Carol is asking, is if we speak about national team, this generation which not represent the country, they will not bring nowhere near in the country's dream, but new generation can. So we should focus and invest more in youth academies. Yeah. Again, Simon, what else should he say? Should he say that we are not doing the right work with the talents? You guys also take all these statements again. Who's going to ask them the hard hitting questions? What level are you producing? That would be my question. If your level of talent production is that you have, then we have a problem, right? Or now that comment from Bibiano makes me scratch on my forehead because he said that we are talented players to beat Iran. Kumar, of course, there is some level of talent, right? I mean, to say that if you don't have talent, to some extent, as I said, Gangte to me is a talented player. Gunleva has a certain level of talent. Rajrup Shorkar, really good, really, really good. And so therefore to say that I don't think it's wrong. So therefore, I don't know why you're scratching your forehead, right? Bayern Munich women moving to stadium from Unterhaching, I think better than Allianz. And Roshan, I think Bayern Munich's problem was that they wanted to expand uh, the stadium at the campus, but they had, for whatever reasons, during signing contracts, it said we will only build a 2,500 capacity stadium over there, and the ground at Unterhaching, if developed, is good because Unterhaching will have a good ground as a team between third and fourth tier. The Bayern Munich men's B team and the women's team. So I think in the long run, it's a win-win for all sides. And again, Unterhaching also working as not, they don't want to hear the word, but they're like an indirect, unofficial farm team for Bayern. So therefore, from that perspective, I think it's a good win-win for all. From that perspective, to say, um, the Sportpark in Unterhaching, it will be taken over by Munich, managed and run. Right. Once more, if you are listening, thanks for the last hour. Like, share, and subscribe. Those of you liking, 16 likes so far. Thank you very much. Share with others to potentially join us in our conversations, or maybe to listen to what we're talking about. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. It's quite interesting. We've now got 3 times we went to 3,500 and went back to 3,499. So it seems to be maybe someone is playing a little bit of a game here. But yeah, let's push that barrier. As I said, I would like to aim for the 4,000 mark before the end of this month and the end of the year. 2018-19 season was worse. BF's Bangalore receivers FC Goa Rahul Beke scores in extra time. Both teams were well organized at the back. BFC defense was solid. Yeah. That was the year that BFC finally won the ISL trophy. And Rahul Beke, of all people, with the winner in Mumbai. And again, if ISL will take place, I think the signing from Punjab FC Osu G Bede is the best. Come on, let's wait and see what is best or what is not best. We've had a lot of the best signing here and there, and then the players don't perform. Therefore, that's also agree. Sir, again, just wanted to get your opinion, thoughts about this. Yeah, Simon. Again, as I said, it is. Carolus has to say it the way that he has to say it, because he also has to sell the viewpoint of his own and that of the Blasters. And it is not easy to say, you know what, oh no, actually it's not that good as we think. So therefore, that's always a problem. But that's the reality. Arunava, the same talented player nowhere in the international men's games, they will fade away before reaching senior level. Kumar, talented players doesn't mean that they will reach the international level. Understand that. If we don't have a little bit of talent at least, then this team will not be able to beat Iran. Let's be very, very clear. That Iran team is not a walkover. So from that perspective, I will say there is some talent. And if I look at Raju Sharkar throughout the tournament, I haven't seen that good a youth keeper in a while, right? If you look at the older generation of youth keepers that we have a problem. But if I look at him, I feel, yeah, there is something possible. On the other side, if I think about what I'm seeing overall, then it's a challenge. And therefore, we'll have to wait and see what what these kids can do. Because even the biggest talents, I mean, I take Germany for example, right? We were talking about Yusufa Mukoko, right? Youngest ever player, goal scorer in German football. He's now at FC Copenhagen, right? Look at Ansu Fati, seen as the next Messi. Not everybody makes it. So being a talented player doesn't mean, we also say talented players to some guys who are like 27, 28 and say he's still a talented player. And they never leave that bracket. So that's the thing. Are the timings out for the World Cup draw? Yeah, Mehul, the draw will be at 12 p.m. Eastern time, UK, 5 p.m. in America. Sorry, in Great Britain, in the UK, GMT. 6 p.m. Central European time here in Germany and Europe. And it will be 10:30 p.m. in India. And I will do a live watch along of the World Cup draw on Friday. So around 10:25, maybe 10:20, most probably, I'll start a live watch along so that we can all enjoy the draw of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Let's see, not the draw of the qualifiers, but the final round, and let's see what kind of groupings we have. We still have four spots to play for in Europe, and yeah, and therefore um, two global qualifiers outside of Europe. Dhiraj, Rajroop, Sahil. Simon actually would put Rajroop first. His composure is better than that of Dhiraj. Dhiraj was always a good shot stopper on the line, but Dhiraj had always the problem when he had to come off the line. As he has been exposed at senior level, those problems were there at youth level as well. So I would say, I think Rajroop is a bigger talent than Dhiraj as a keeper. Again, nothing achieved. You've seen where Dhiraj has ended up in the last couple of or last 2-3 years. Um, Therefore, Rajroop has potential. Is with Hindustan Zinc Football Academy in Rajasthan. So let's see where he goes next. And yeah, will be very interesting to see. Again, him and especially Northeast United will be happy by having um, three of the best players from the squad, right? If I see that they have Shubham Punya, right, looks solid centre back. Dalal Mohan Gangte, youngest player and then captain. That's respect. And Gunleva, to me, the best winger in that team. So therefore, that's some interesting. There is, if there is some talent in there. Therefore, I agree with Briano. Talent is there. So it's not that it's a squad of blinds. Right, 2 hours. Sorry, 1 hour 9 minutes. Coming up to the 1 hour and 10 minute mark, which means 70 minutes of this live. Once more, the reminder: like, share, and subscribe. And as I said, Traveler's Guide to Indian Football. My interview coming out tomorrow with Johnson and Arjun, who are the architects of that. Uh, so therefore, watch that interview. I think quite insightful of how they put the whole series together. If you haven't watched it, watch it under the Sportsfolio um, YouTube channel as well. Another, can Jamal Musiala be the best number 10 in current era? Yeah, why not? He has the potential. His problem is, of course, the serious injury that he got in the um, FIFA Club World Cup, which has kept him out now for the rest of the year. He's training at the moment. He's trying to come back. Jamal Musiala, to me, is an exceptional talent. So yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to seeing him back on the pitch. A really, really, really great talent, and yeah. So therefore, yeah. Right. It seems like, guys, I've tried to answer all your questions. Once more, coming back to the general talking points of the day. Tomorrow, big day. The sports ministry has invited for a meeting at the Sports Authority of India. And Interesting to see. ISL clubs, ID clubs, smaller clubs are attending. FSDL will attend. Reliance will attend. Are any of the commercial partners going to attend? I don't know. Broadcasters, OTT platforms, really interesting to see. And then a joint meeting. So therefore, let's see. Um, right. So we will have to wait and see what happens tomorrow in that meeting. And that um, I have said, and I stick to that. Not too much, not too many expectations, because that might be, putting it a little too much. Another, when will Maidan clubs, fans, and admin people come out of their bubble? Kumar, I don't know. Maybe never. Who knows? Is it going to be the most expensive World Cup for the fans ever? Ticketing prices nothing when compared to World Cup 2022. Simon, yes, because um, to me, the ticketing is one part. The travel, the stay. In Doha, one venue, one hotel, local transport, bus or metro, you were at the venues. Here, you have to fly across countries, you have to fly across, yeah, and not across countries, but also across nations as well. So, therefore, yeah, the costs are much, much higher. Now, the Supreme Court said to AIFF, why you're coming again? Kumar, yes, they're saying it, but the point is, I think the AIFF was right to go back to the Supreme Court because Supreme Court has put them in this situation. This situation was not created by the All India Football Federation. This difficult situation was created by the Supreme Court of India. So I think that the AFF was right to go back to the Supreme Court and say, guys, what do we do here? And then they got the government involved. The Supreme Court, this mess regarding the ISL contracts, the commercial contracts of the AFF, the mistake lies with the Supreme Court of India, in my opinion, that the bench got involved in this matter and did not allow the AFF to do it on their own. That is the big reason. Can Mumbai City bring players like Shan Hundal and Jan Danda by paying them hefty money? Also, theoretically, yes. I don't know if they're going to do it. At the moment, we don't even know if we have a league, right? So therefore, I don't know if these hefty transfers and this and that, this Lobera move has created a weird sort of hype in Kolkata. Oh, I think the Goenkas know something more and this and that and everything. And there is nothing to report about. At the moment, there is no league. At the moment, there is no Indian Super League. So there is no conversation about the league to happen, right? And therefore, it's a very, very weird scenario. And therefore, I don't know if Jan wants to come to India. That's the first thing Shan has said. He wants to come to India, but is any club going to show interest in him, right? He's not going to be cheap. And therefore we will have to wait and see what happens in the next few days and weeks. At the moment, nothing happening. Is the City Football Group staying even with the current scenario? Simon, at the moment they're still in. There's been rumors that they will walk off, but as long as this situation at the moment is not cleared, I don't see them walking away. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next. So it's a it's a very tricky scenario, I would say, but we'll have to wait and see what happens because it is something um, that concerns the whole league. And at the moment, I think there's a lack of clarity of where the league is heading. And we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see because the dangerous part is if, let's say, City Football Group say, okay, I'm leaving. If, let's say, Mr. Goenka says I'm leaving, then this whole ISL will fall together like a pack of cards. Because if those two leave, then again, where does Odisha stay? Chennai is a question. Can John Abram continue in the Northeast? What happens with this Imami group in Kolkata? Uh, so therefore, yeah, pack of cards. I think FF once again appointed astrologer to confirm the league would happen or not. Maybe Goenka was part of it. I don't think so. It's nice, Goku. It's a nice thing to think, but this is not a joke. This is about the future of Indian football. This is about the likelihood of a lot of people, and therefore this is not so easy. Do you think there will be some positive news from tomorrow's meetings? Nishant, I don't think so. I think that tomorrow is trying to understand where the situation stands. Again, the question is not about the clubs. It is more about the commercial entities showing interest and how they would be interested to run and invest into the league and into the system. That's the question. And if you couldn't find an answer in those meetings, right, in the meetings with the commercial entities and in the meeting with the broadcast and OTT platforms, that is a bigger thing than if all the conversations with the clubs. Or now the any club CEO with consciousness would not sign any new managers when the league isn't out. Kumar, no, I don't agree with you. The point is here that Mohun Bagan, I think, was under certain pressure because they say, oh, we mutually terminated Molina. It looks like from what you hear in and around Kolkata that Molina himself left and Mohun Bagan Supergiant were under that pressure, only pressure saying, hey, listen, we can't stand there without a coach. And therefore they had to do it. So therefore, don't come with logic in football in a lot of decisions and forget Indian football around the world. There is a lot of things that happen and take care. Uh, you know, you know. Um, so therefore, we are there. Looking at the chat, it sums up really. We're running out of topics to discuss if things continue going on like this. Yeah, Simon, I think we need to then shift. You know, from Indian football to make it to a football discussion. I think we're very close to that, I guess. Uh, and so therefore, yeah, let's wait and see. Tomorrow is going to be interesting. Day after is going to be interesting, and then we'll see what happens. That's why I said World Cup draw on Friday will be something to do and talk about, and then let's see what happens. Positive news in football like a curse. No, Kumar, it's not. Again, we had good news on Sunday by the under 17s qualifying for the Asian Cup. I think we should take that. These are small little wins, and I say we take those rather than fighting for the big ones. And yeah, again, sometimes you have to take smaller ones to be happy. Hey, Utkarsh, welcome back. Again, that's the point. Indian football is in a very delicate scenario, right? You think that certain things have been done, certain things have happened, certain things are going the right way, and then you realize, okay, they're not. And that is when you have to then think, okay, how can this be transformed into something positive? And again, the women's have given us a lot of positives this year. The under 17s towards the end have given us something positive this year. But the AIFF, the league, the men's structure in club football, all of that is the biggest thing. That's the money earner which pays for the rest. And that's going to be the question, right? So therefore, guys, yeah, that's a tricky one. Right. If we don't have any more thing to talk about and discuss, then I'll slowly come to an end today. Tomorrow, let's wait and see what comes out. And once again, like, share, and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. And I will back tomorrow night. And yeah, again, the hope is that something good comes out. And let's wait and see what happens. And now that we've seen Paulamadili live, will be one of the greatest defenders of all time. Yes, Kumar, I've seen him live. Hope there's something tomorrow. Yeah, Nishant, let's hope so. And Oscar says Sporting Club Delhi and Percy played with each other. Yeah, it's like East Bengal played against Dempo in Goa. So, teams are trying to prepare for the Super Cup semi-finals on Thursday. I'll be doing 2 live watch-alongs first. East Bengal versus Punjab FC, and then later on FC Goa versus Mumbai City FC. So both of them I'll be doing live watch-alongs. Friday draw of the FIFA World Cup 2026 groups, and let's see. And Simon says, and I'll end with this: at the end of the year, all I need is Mr. Santa delivering some late Christmas gifts to us fans. We're waiting. Simon, let's wish and let's hope so. With that, I end tonight. I'll catch you soon. Good night, everyone.